Hi Anant, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for your time today. To begin with, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Kriti. So my name is Anant Visaria. I am from Mumbai in India, and I've been in Denmark for almost 4 years now. And I'm working as an energy consultant over here. I came here for my master's at DTU in sustainable energy. I'm an engineer by education, and now I'm working full time as an energy consultant for the past 1 year in Copenhagen.
We can use this conversation as a transition to the next part about working in Denmark.
Yeah.
And if you could share some of your experience about how you can find a job in Denmark.
Mm. So, I mean, as you can remember, I think we spoke for over an hour and I still didn't get through all the information. So, there is a lot to learn with respect to that. And I'm still learning as well. Like, it was a struggle for me through and through. But I got a lot of help from the commune through career programs and from DTU. So, I would say first and foremost, you need to understand how the communication works. So in your CV, it just it needs to be more substance than just saying, okay, I did this, but okay, when did you do it? What was the outcomes of it? What was the learning or something? That has to be more to it. Chronology, the presentation of it, that's important. Giving your details clearly, the length of it, and like those are the things. And in the cover letter, uh, basically the CV and the cover letter should be targeted to the job ad. So before you do, like, you can have your general CV and cover letter format, uh, but every time you apply, you need to tweak things based on the things that they've asked for in the job ad. And now this is just a bottom up approach. So CV cover letter is what you're sending in, job ad is what you're seeing, and when you see the job ad, it is important that you see what they're asking for, and based on that, you call. They'll always have someone's contact, call or mail the person and find out more, because there's only so much they can put in a job ad, and sometimes your situation might not be perfectly matching it, and so you can get those clarifications, and it's a good way to be noticed and show your seriousness. And how do you find a job? There are a bunch of ways, and most important is LinkedIn, because in a country of almost 6 million people, there are over 2 million people over here who are on LinkedIn. So that's like more than like most of their workforce. I mean, at least the kind of work you would do as a skilled person from higher education. Um, And so LinkedIn, you have to understand how to set up the profile, how to look for jobs and connect with people on LinkedIn. Networking is then that's like that all comes under the umbrella of networking, which is so important over here, because yes, you can apply for job ads and things, but by far networking is the most effective tool over here to get jobs. And how do you do networking? Be active on LinkedIn, go to events, go to company visits, coffee meetings, right? To like people over here are very receptive to communication or via email and messages. So you can actually reach out to someone you don't really know. And when you're sincere about it and show that you want to learn and understand and connect, people understand that. And like I've done it now that I'm working, but even when I was a student, bunch of times just writing to someone I didn't know and said that, okay, do you have some time to talk to me about this is my situation. You don't have to be desperate, and you don't have to be disingenuous. Like, um, you need to be genuine. You
Yeah.
need to. You can't just write to someone to be like, oh, I had a meeting with this person, but like that person wants to get something out of it, and you need to understand that, and you need to get something out of it. You need to. So this is just the short version
Yeah.
of gist of what all goes into creating a better um, approach to finding work.
They say that it's difficult, but if you do the work, was it difficult for you to find a job, or like when you were studying, Does
Mm,
studying here in Denmark makes it easier to get a job?
so there are a few things over here. One is, on a general level, what I have seen is firstly getting a job. The difficulty of it is very subjective. There's a lot of luck also involved in it. So I've seen people who've had a job before they finished their studies, who've had a job immediately after in a few months, and people who struggled for a year or more and couldn't find a job. Um, some people end up going the PhD route and all that. I didn't choose that, so I won't talk about it. That's a little different ball game. It's very different actually. So that's one thing. So it's a spectrum depending upon your network and your luck, your how uh, how involved you are in that process. For me, I would say it was somewhat difficult because the way I got a job was I had to do a lot. I got a job. I finished my thesis in April last year. Then I was working as a research assistant for 2 months, and that I was hoping would get extended, but it didn't. And then I was at a point where, I mean, I'd already started applying for jobs since January, and that's important. Don't wait. Start applying already while you're doing your thesis. Um, and I'd applied to a bunch of jobs. I just got called for one interview, and that at that time, and then the Corona thing happened in March, so it didn't work out. But I made a plan. I made a whole list of companies, contacts, job alerts on different websites, and then just reaching out to people for coffee meetings, as I mentioned. And the job that I didn't get in March actually happened to be available in July, and I ended up getting that. So it was persistence. There's a lot of
Yeah.
persistence, and so I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being extremely difficult and 1 being not difficult at all, my experience was around a 7, maybe 6, because I didn't wait a lot after I finished my studies to get a job. So, yeah.
Yeah. Because I also know few of my friends, they got the job, like they were in the
Mm,
process, or maybe after 6 months or 1 year.
mm,
If you are consistent, you
yeah.
get. And as you shared few things,
Yeah.
like LinkedIn, networking.
I would like to mention there's this question I get from a lot of people who reach out to me for, I want to study in Denmark. What's a life like? What's a job market like? And I'm like, first, you need to do your research on your
Yeah.
own. Don't take my word for it. Second, it is difficult, but it's not like it's super easy everywhere else. Maybe because of language and culture, say the US or the UK or Australia or Canada is a little bit easier than over here. Definitely over there, it's probably a little more easier because also the number of companies and opportunities higher, but you're competing with that many people also. So yeah, compared to those places, it is more difficult here. But if you try, it is definitely possible. Like most of the people I know from my batch who studied with me ended up finding some or the other opportunity either in Denmark or in Europe. I There's barely anyone I can think of who didn't find work. So if you keep trying, you will make it. It is difficult, but it is possible, and you have to work towards it. It won't just magically happen.
Yeah, my idea also with creating such content on my YouTube is to just share the experiences.
Yeah,
It's not like this is what you have to do. That
yeah,
even
yeah.
I'm getting questions. Yeah.
While there are a lot of things you can do, the one thing, and this is just a public announcement of sorts, is that I've literally received messages, random people I don't know at all, directly asking, do you know of a job opportunity in your company? Can you recommend me to your company? Do you know of a thesis opportunity somewhere? This, that. And I'm like, you need to create the network and the relationship. You can't
Yeah.
expect someone who doesn't know you to do that. There are steps to it, there are nuances to it. Understand it, take some time with it. And create your own experiences. There is no like downside to it.
Now that I'm also going deep into covering topics about Denmark, I'm understanding that there's so many information available, be it work in Denmark with international citizen .dk.
Yeah,
Lot of information is available.
100%. And like if you reach out to someone for actually learning something, they're more likely to talk to you about it. Like if someone asks me, oh, can you talk to me about your experience like you did right now or earlier? Or what is the procedure to do something, or what is your advice on it? I would be willing to talk to you. But if
Yeah,
you directly demand an opportunity from me that firstly is not in my control, secondly, I don't know you at all, I'm not going to recommend you or anything.
yeah,
I mean, you have to put yourself in the other person's shoe. I mean, when you do that, you will understand that, okay, this makes sense actually. It's common sense to a large extent.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is what I've learned here in Denmark, that if you're genuine, people want to help you.
Yeah.
They also are looking for people to build connection and help
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. Some people ask whether learning the language helps or not. I mean, yes, it opens up a little more opportunity, but in the 2 or 3 years that you've lived here, it's hard to learn Danish enough to become like for it
Yeah,
to be your working language. So it does help to some extent, but in my experience, it wasn't the biggest roadblock for me. And for me, what helped the most was actually knowing people and talking to people, creating those connections. I used to do a very basic thing. If I was looking for like to talk to someone, I would reach out firstly, understand their background already that is available, say on LinkedIn or a website or whatever. So you write to them and be precise. Be like, this is my name. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to figure out right now. And I saw this, and I thought it would be interesting to talk to you. If you had 30 minutes or so to have a conversation with me, that would be great. And I want to learn more about, say, the working culture in your company or your experience with this or the kind of projects you do, the tools you use or something like that. Like people want to share. People
yeah,
want to share their experiences and help. I don't think people are not helpful in Denmark, but you have to be, you know, you can't be desperate and you can't be completely dependent on them. So you have to do the work. They will guide you.
yeah. One of my Danish friends, he is because I shared my experience that I have like a
Mm,
career change, or maybe I would want to do the job, and
yeah,
he is ready to help me. He's like,
mm,
let's sit together and understand your situation.
mm,
And I'm like, but I need to, study or know those things. And
yeah,
he's like, no, you can always say that I will prepare myself.
yeah,
I will be willing to work, and
yeah.
they will understand. Like the trust factor that comes here.
Trust factor. Oh yeah, this is the one point I wanted to make earlier, which I forgot. Trust is important. Being honest. Be honest about it. One of the things I learned in my studies and through my work is that if you don't know something, it's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to make a mistake and be honest about, own up to, oh, I made this mistake. How do I correct this? How do I learn from this? Have that learning attitude and, show that you want to learn. And on the tangible side, I feel that, like, I think that was one of the questions you wanted to discuss. Studying in Denmark definitely helps because that is one thing that is an indication of them like for them that okay, you understand how things work here, you spend time, you understand the culture. But what helps the most is having some level of work experience in Denmark. It can be, I mean, in line with what you want to work with, of course, but like a part-time job, research assistant, student job at a company, internship with a company, internship at the university, whatever. Those things really help. It helped me as well. My internship at the UN and other experiences actually put me in a better position to get the job I did. Like even a few months ago, I was talking to my boss, and he mentioned that the recommendation I got from my boss at the UN actually went a long way in proving.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, past experience from outside Denmark counts to some extent, but work experience from Denmark counts a lot more.
So like when you're looking for a job, it's good if you can get some internship, go for it and get
Definitely
like,
apply for internships and part-time jobs or projects or like anything that can show that you understand how things work in Denmark. Because knowledge, one thing is it's indicative, like you from your degree and whatever, and they also know that you can learn something that you don't know.
yeah.
But what you can't learn, like they don't have time to show you how communication over here works, or how how the system works, or you know how you work in a team, the work life balance part, and also you all those things become much easier to learn when you are as an intern or a part-time position.
I agree that the trust here, like if you say I want to learn
Mm.
and I can get better at it because
Take the opportunity. Like my internship was an unpaid one at the UN. At that time, the UN didn't pay, but I still took it because I was like, okay, this is experience, this is learning experience for me. It's the name, it's the uh, and oh, that's also important. It's not like an internship over here means you're doing nothing. You're pretty much working like an employee of that place. You have your responsibilities and projects from the get-go. They put once they hire you in any capacity, they trust you with responsibility. It's not like they'll make you ask you to make coffee or something like that.
mhm.
You know, I, that never happens. Your work will have some overlap with actual project work, actual uh, application, and that is why it is important, this experience. It also improves your chances of getting work, not just elsewhere, but if they see, like in my company, I've seen people, a lot of people who are working with me were first student assistants or interns, and then they became full-time employees. A lot of companies I spoke with people at, and they were like, I can think of two immediately and a few others from my friends' experience where it became much simpler to find full-time work in that company once you'd already worked there as an
Yeah.
intern or as a, or did your project, your thesis work with them, or student assistant over there.
Yeah, but I mean the internship can get into can get you if the full time can
It
get you.
can, because it doesn't, like you've got your step in, right? Like they can see your abilities and skill, and they work with you and they get a sense of it. Okay, this is something that we can use. This is someone who would be a good addition to the team. They're not expecting you to know everything, but they're expecting you to show the skill that you can learn, that you can adapt, then you can fit in, that you can contribute, bring something that they need.
Yeah. This is really good and I'm like going little deep into like
Yeah,
finding a work and what can you do if you are here in Denmark or
yeah,
even after studying. And I want to like maybe the final question I want to ask you, Anand, is like now you're working, so you have seen both studying and now working.
yeah.
So how is life right now for you here in Denmark?
Really good. I mean, again, it changes from company to company, but mostly if you're in a Danish company, excellent. Like I have responsibilities from day one. Yesterday, I actually finished 1 year at work, and I still remember my first day. And from the first day itself, I was put on a project and being like, "You're responsible to do this." Um, Responsibility from day one, respect from day one. Like, okay, if you want to learn, if you need to ask, openness. Um, no one is going to force you to work more than you want to. You can say no to taking up more tasks, or talk to the people saying that, okay, I'm overworked or I don't know this, and be communicative, be open about it, be honest with your work. Like people say that over here people work just 37 or 40 hours a week, maybe 45, 50 sometimes when you're like there's urgent work. That's like, and other people work a lot more, but it's not about the time, it's about the quality. When I'm at work, like, when someone says they worked 8 hours, they 80% of the time it means that they actually like worked 7 hours off that 8 hours, and that 1 hour might have been like writing an email, getting a cup of coffee, whatever, etc., or like having a chat. But it is effective work. It is efficient work. That's really good because they won't ask you to do something just for the sake of it. Like you are paid well, you're respected, and you actually do work that like that is what you want to do. At least for me, that is how it has been. There are some people who end up in jobs where they're like, this is not what I want to do, and they
Mm-hmm.
respect that as well. I have a friend who has that experience where she went up to a boss and was like, yeah, I would like to do more of this. Or even in my company, when you mentioned that, okay, I don't like this so much, can I do more of this? And they're like, sure. They make those adjustments. So be communicative. And but then you have to also reciprocate those same things. So when some like you can't harass someone too much on the weekend or late in the evening on
Yeah.
the night, you respect that. So and that balance, and then the social life of it, it's not just about work. Work is a part of life. They understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So like getting together for a meal, or like this Friday we have a summer party and have a chat and like get to know each other. I think that goes a lot further than being top notch intellectually or academically.
Yeah.
It's the people skills. Like your qualifications might get you into the room, but what will keep you there and keep you going is those skills, the skills of learning, skills of dealing with people, talking to people, making those connections, making those relationships, and actually contributing and like having a positive impact on
Mm-hmm.
like making life easier and solving problems.
Yeah. Like
those
I
kind of
see,
things.
yeah. Like for my husband, I can see that he has a good work-life balance and he's doing
Yeah,
other activities also.
I mean, some companies are a little less flexible, some are more, but I can take a day off and because I have something like, oh, I have to, go to the bank or receive a package or something or take some time off or just because I'm really stressed out and make up for that time later. It's completely accepted. Like you can write to your colleagues or boss and be like, I need some time.
Hmm.
And they will respect that.
Yeah. Okay, Anand. So I want to maybe end the video by saying that I can understand from this talk that how you said it was a good thing that happened to you and you came to Denmark for studying.
100% like I'm happy I got what I wanted from my education. I got a good education. I met good people, really good ideas, got a good, really good, like it's pretty much my dream job. I would say. Um, yeah, I couldn't imagine, or like if I was to write my own story, I don't think I could do much better than this.
All right, so I think Denmark is the one of the best places to study and and also find a job if you can, and then have a
Yeah,
wonderful
I
life.
mean, of course, there are ups and downs, as you mentioned,
Yeah,
but on the whole, I personal experience has been great over here.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Anant, for the time because I know
Yeah,
it's like almost dinner time.
yeah,
Thank you so much for taking the time,
no
and
worries.
I'm 100% sure that this personal experience of yours and what we spoke will definitely give some insight to people who want to come here for study and find a job. But definitely, as we spoke, do your own research, understand what happens when you move to a new
Yeah,
country. Uh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and do it for the right reasons.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, Anand.
Glad to talk to you.
Yeah, really,
I
really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope it can help someone or um,
Yeah,
even like create some awareness.
yeah. Let's see. Like, I definitely because there are some questions that are coming. So if people ask some questions.
Yeah,
If we have time, we can do maybe the other session around this topic. But to begin with, this was
yeah,
really nice.
yeah. And in general, I'm very open to connecting with people on LinkedIn, so you can easily find me there.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, my name is Anant Atul Visaria. You can just put it
Yeah, I will
in.
put it in the description. Okay, thank you so much, Anant.